Story 1. Would I be the a-hole if I tell a couple I'm a mistress for both of them? This is a long one and a very weird situation, but here we go. I, 28 female, have been seeing 2 people recently. I've been seeing C, 30 female, for a little over 5 months, and M, 29 male, for almost 6 months. Both relationships are currently in a state of non-commitment, even though I've expressed feelings in both relationships and they've been reciprocated, but I'm naturally not a super commitment-focused person, and both of the people I'm seeing have respected that a lot, so yeah. Anyways, both relationships have been great, and I'm incredibly happy with them, and since neither are committed to me, I've kind of just assumed that both C and M were likely seeing other people as well, even if we haven't talked about it. Well, about a week ago, C came over to my place to spend the night, which she does like once a week or every other week. She goes to take a shower, and I start gathering laundry and grab her stuff to throw in with mine and take her phone out of her jeans. I glance at the screen and see a few texts from a contact called My Love. I was kind of surprised by this because while not talking to me about casual relationships is not something I would care about, the contact name made me think she had a more serious relationship going on, which I don't mind but would like to be informed about. So, okay, I did an admittedly a-hole thing and read the text, and then read a few more, and it became apparent that this was a really committed relationship, like, I love yous, I'll be back home soon, please remember to grab so-and-so from the grocery store, stuff like that. The contact picture looked kind of familiar too, so I clicked on it to see better, and it ended up being a picture of M. I kind of flipped at this because this is kind of a ridiculous situation, and I left my apartment for some air. I came back like 30 minutes later, and C was waiting for me and confused where I'd been. She didn't see or hear me leave since she was still in the shower. I apologized to her for looking at her phone, but told her that I saw the texts from her partner and that I was feeling kind of hurt that she hadn't told me that she had a more serious relationship going on since she knows I value transparency. I specifically did not mention that I was also dating M or knew who he was because I felt I needed to scope out the situation more. She ended up breaking down in tears and spilled everything. Told me that M is her husband, that he doesn't know she's been seeing me, that she's felt so conflicted and guilty because she loves him, but she's really grown to love me too, that she feels wrong and dirty for keeping everything secret. I'm upset that I've been made into a mistress without knowing, but I tried to talk to her about everything, and we end up staying up super late talking and crying and pouring our hearts out. I still don't mention that I'm dating M too because I feel like I need to talk to him about this before any big decisions are made on my part. I ended up inviting M to stay at my place a few nights later, and I confronted him about the fact that I know he has a wife, made up something about my friends seeing them out together, and asked why he's kept this from me. His reaction was really similar, guilt, not understanding why he's attracted to 2 people at once, saying he very deeply loves C and doesn't want to leave her but really loves me too, says he's confused and doesn't know what to do. I don't mention to him that I know C or that I'm dating her. I asked him if he's heard of polyamory before, and he said yes, but he doesn't know anything about it really. I ended up encouraging him to maybe talk to his wife to see if that's something she'd be interested in, but he was terrified that she'd be hurt by the suggestion. I really do love them both, and I don't want to leave them. I've been poly for a long time and am very familiar with navigating ethical non-monogamy, and to me this feels a lot like 2 poly people struggling to come to terms with and accept a facet of their sexualities, and they're just navigating that confusion and self-discovery in ways that are not great, but I want to give them grace for their mistakes, I guess. So this is the part where I think I might be the a-hole if I go through with it. I've talked with both C and M separately about talking to their spouse about what's been going on and about polyamory in general, and they're both effing terrified and really don't want to. So I was thinking of inviting them both to my place at the same time to hash it out, without telling them that the other person will be there since they still don't know I'm dating both of them. I think once they realize they've been dating the same person, things might be easier to navigate and will force them to confront what's been going on. But also, I don't know if springing this on them is the best thing I could do, but I really have no idea how to navigate this differently. To be frank, if they both love each other and both love me, my ideal outcome is that we continue things as they have been but with no secrecy and 100% transparency. I'm also afraid that even though they've both been seeing the same person and have expressed interest in polyamory after talking about it with me, they might feel personally betrayed by each other and everything could backfire spectacularly and I could possibly explode their whole marriage. So, would I be the a-hole? I don't think that you would be the a-hole. I think that, yeah, polyamory does sound like what all of you kind of want and what they're just afraid of because they are afraid that it might hurt their partner and ruin that partnership that they care so much about. But yeah, as much as you say, like, inviting them both over and confronting that head on, oh, it's going to be so awkward and it might go badly and on the other hand, I genuinely don't see a better way of doing this. Like, I think it's good to get things out in the open, and I don't think it makes you the a-hole. They're the ones who lied to you. They both lied to you and lied to their partners, and I don't think it makes you the a-hole to reveal that to both of them, but hopefully be able to work things out. I don't think there's any way you can do this that you can guarantee it will go well and everyone will be happy, but I think if you don't, especially now that they know that they have partners and stuff, like guilt and all that stuff is going to eat away at them and probably erode their relationship or their relationship with you. So yeah, I really hope that things work out for you. Story 2. Police were called because of leaves. That's gonna cost you. This is recent and very petty, but great. My friend keeps a very clean yard. In the fall, he likes to get all the leaves before it rains, and they become a bee to pull up. His neighbor doesn't care about his yard, and he has owned the house for a few years and still has not moved in. He lives a few states away. As my friend was finishing up sucking up the leaves with his machine, some of them blew into the neighbor's driveway, maybe 20 leaves total. My friend finished up and went inside. About 20 minutes later, there was a knock on the door and squad car outside. The officer said they received a complaint about leaves being blown into the driveway. The neighbor had been watching on his doorbell cam and decided this transgression warranted police intervention. You could tell the officer was visibly annoyed, as my friend asked the officer to look at his yard and then his neighbor's. The pettiness. The neighbor had an old car shipped and dropped in the driveway about 8 months ago where it has sat ever since. Remember, he still lives a few states away. While my friend told the officer he would clean the leaves promptly, he asked the officer if he could do him a favor. Check the car for proper tags. The officer saw the car in question and gave a slight smile. While my friend cleaned the leaves out of the driveway, then officers were walking around the car looking at the VIN and running information. You could hear the neighbor on his doorbell asking what the problem was. There is a law, any car that is in the driveway must have tags and insurance on them. The police gave him a call and told him his car was in violation, and he either needed to put the car in the garage, which would need to be lifted and dropped in the garage, or get the registration, insurance, and an e-check on the car that can't be taken care of within 2 weeks, or they will be back to tow the car and ticket him. Dude cost himself a 10-hour car ride to get his car lifted and stuffed in the garage all over a few dead leaves. Like 20 leaves in your driveway, and you called the cops. Do you know what else can put 20 leaves in your driveway? A small breeze. Like, seriously, a few stray leaves, and you're having a fit about it, even though your yard is full of leaves and you got the car and all that stuff? Like, why? Why would you do that to yourself? Would you not have the slight wherewithal to be like, I don't have a leg to stand on here. This is a very stupid thing to call the cops about, and I don't have a case. Clearly, this can only backfire. Like, you would only have to think about that for a second and a half? Was it that hard for your brain to fire off some neurons for that long consecutively? Just enough to be like, leaves, mad, cops, like just little bursts of thought, but not a continuous idea, huh? Story 3. Am I the a-hole for not buying my boyfriend a pug puppy and financially cutting him off? So this situation involves me, 28 female, and boyfriend, 27 male. We've been together for about 2 years and some change. We live together and split all the main bills, but the rest of our paychecks we keep separate and spend how we wish. Typically, this works fine. But despite him earning the same, sometimes more than me, he is not great at budgeting. He gets takeout almost every day, buys coffee out every single day, sends this god-awful, abusive mom money whenever she asks, etc. And I've had to help him out with money multiple times. But the real issue started when he brought up wanting to buy a pug puppy. Now, I work in veterinary medicine, lead VT at my clinic, and frequently see firsthand the suffering these dogs go through due to bad breeding and even just their breed's standard anatomy. Plus, they're prone to so many chronic expensive health issues, and I've found over the years that no matter what the other person says, if you work in my field and they get a pet, a lot of the harder care aspects, like medical, will fall on you. And honestly, I find buying a pug at all to be unethical and something I'm not okay with. I certainly wouldn't be willing to bring them into my clinic and shoulder the responsibility, which I know would happen. I love my boyfriend, but this is a guy who thought neutering a dog involved removing their penis and even says he knows nothing about animals until I met you. Who is going to have to manage the situation with this dog has chronically allergic dermatitis or otitis or IVDD or one of the other million issues they typically end up having? Me. I already know it. I explained all this to him and he got quite upset with me for completely shutting down what he wants. I told him a small med to medium dog isn't out of the question, just not a pug or other brachycephalic dog and not a puppy. They are far too much of a time and effort commitment that either of us can provide and wouldn't be good for anyone. I don't like to admit that I pulled the "this is literally my career field and I know what I'm talking about" when he kept repeating, "Well, you don't know that." Because yeah, I kinda do. I'm also not proud of this, but I told him if he did get the pug puppy, I would never help him out again with money and I would give him zero help with the puppy, including bringing them to my clinic as an employee-affiliated pet for at-cost care, cheaper but by no means free, or medications. He was pretty shocked when I said this and left our apartment to go cool off. I guess he told our mutual friend because they told me via text I was being a bee about the whole thing and must hate animals. All my coworkers agree with me, but I know they are obviously biased. Am I the a-hole? As much as I love dogs and I want to be like, take all the dogs in. Take them in. You need them all. I don't think you're being an a-hole. I think you're being kind of reasonable. Hey folks, don't support most breeders. Look into that kind of stuff. Dog breeding, especially with like purebreds and stuff. I mean, that's why so many dogs have health issues. It's not great. Now, I will say I don't have a problem with someone getting a pug if it's, a rescue or something. There are a lot of dogs out there who are rescues that they're not going to be puppies. And I agree with this person. Getting a puppy is so much. We got our Great Dane as a puppy and we also had bronchitis for the first month that we had her, and we're trying to crate train her and potty train her. It was hell. We were breaking down in tears at times. Puppies are hard, and a puppy with medical problems and stuff is going to be harder. So yeah, I think you can get a pug if it's a rescue or something. I think maybe there's a conversation that could be had here without completely shutting his stuff down. But if he's that insistent on, it's like, no, it has to be a pug from a breeder and a puppy and stuff. Yeah, I think you're a-okay shutting that down and telling him if he does do it that your hands are clean. So I'm with you there. Story 4. Today I effed up by asking a random man if he was homeless. So, me and my girlfriend were kinda hungry and had nothing in, so we decided to go for a big shop at Aldi. If you're not aware then, Aldi is a massive supermarket with overly cheap food ideal for people like us that live on a budget. So me and my girlfriend rocked up to Aldi, loads of ideas of what to buy, and felt like improving my karma, so asked the local homeless man outside said shop if he would like something to eat or drink. He replied, "Yes please, I'd like a sandwich without tomato and an orange juice please." So without hesitation, I agree I'd buy said items and return after a while shopping, to which he agreed. The sandwiches are the first thing on offer walking into Aldi, so I grab his sandwich after joking slightly with my girlfriend that I get him a BLT, bacon, lettuce, and tomato. Also grab some sauteed chicken bites and a large carton of fresh orange. Around 35 or so minutes later, it's time to check out, so pay for items, walk out the door, and the man is no longer sitting on the doorstep to Aldi. Immediately confused, I start to look for the man as if bought items for him and really wanted to give them to him as I frequently feed and help the homeless, etc. Looking all over car park thinking maybe he's gone to stretch his legs, walk down the street a bit, and also back up to my car, nowhere to be seen. I forgot to mention that the bloke was wearing a blanket, so I had no idea what his clothes looked like. Then suddenly, a challenger appeared. He looked me blankly in the face. He's wearing dirty clothes. He's got the same color hair as the man I spoke to earlier. MFer is looking at me like I just asked him 45 minutes ago what he wants from the local Aldi and says, "What the F you looking at?" I say, "Are you the guy who was sat outside Aldi earlier?" Mother effer goes, "Are you all right?" I say, "Sorry, mate. Are you homeless?" MFer, "Do I look homeless?" To which I respond, "No, you look like a MFing legend." I realized my mistake and was trying to defuse the situation, to which he gave me the finger and walked off. Please note the guy was wearing around 3 jackets and was really dirty on his pants face. Guess that's what happened when you try to be nice. I drive off and beep at him and he gives me the finger once more before retreating to the door of his 4-bedroom home. Got a little lost there in the end. He had a 4-bedroom home right by the Aldi or something. I don't know what's happening here. Whatever. Yeah, don't ask people. You can't tell a person apart. I don't know. If you look around, you don't see the guy. You asked if he was the person that you saw out here 45 minutes ago. And if he says that, you're just like, I'm sorry, I've got the wrong person. Go on your way. Don't start asking invasive questions like that of people or making assumptions just because how people are dressed or look or whatever. I don't know. It's probably just going to save you and them a lot of embarrassment. Story 5. I've been married for 8 years. I have feelings for a coworker that I can't shake. I've been with my wonderful husband since we were 20/21. We have an amazing relationship with each other, still make time for dates every week, and really just enjoy each other. He became my best friend pretty instantly from when we started hanging out in high school, and that still hasn't changed today. I have a girlfriend who I do call my best friend, and outside of my marriage, she is, but even that doesn't compare to the friendship I have with my husband. We've had our rough patches, but never anything very severe. There's some things I need to change about myself and things he needs to work on as well. Nothing relationship ending, just things that we need to do to be better people and better partners, and I doubt this will ever change as it's impossible to just be perfect people. We don't have any children, nor are children in our future. We both work and bring home pretty decent money, although we both had small patches of unemployment in the past and were supported by the other. There's never been any hostility over the finances, regardless of who is making more or who is supporting whom. Our marriage has survived depression, alcoholism, and a couple of physical medical conditions, all met with overwhelming support from each other. We are a great team. Our intercourse life is great and really active. A dry spell for us is going the work week without having intercourse because one or both of us are just too exhausted, but that is not very common. We get along well with each other's families, and my family is really bonded with my husband. As far as they're concerned, he's just another son or brother. He's everything I could have ever hoped for in a husband and more, and I really, truly love him. Now, I've felt myself attracted to others in the past, and I'm sure he has been through the same, but it's not anything we've ever discussed with each other. I know that it's normal, and it's never been anything too intense before. I find myself starting to get feelings for someone who I see a lot. It doesn't take that much to shake off. This is the first time I've ever dealt with feelings so intense, and I don't really know what to do next. My coworker is very attractive, super friendly, and I just enjoy being around him. We started working at this company around the same time, roughly 8 months ago. We were in training together for a couple of weeks, which was absolute torture. My feelings came on strong and came on quick. I'm sure I've turned red when he flashes me a smile. It would be embarrassing enough if I were single simply because we work together, but I'm married and I feel like that probably looks really poorly on me. We don't work together anymore, but our departments are close, and if he walks through my section, he'll put his hand on my shoulder and give it a squeeze to get my attention when he's walking by, then flash me that smile. I'll make conversation if we pass each other or are at a work event together, but I do the same with pretty much everyone I've worked with / currently work with. We don't have each other on social media, haven't exchanged numbers, and don't see each other outside of work. I was invited out to a bar nearby him and a few others a couple of times, but turned them down. I work in a male-dominated field and didn't feel right being the only woman out at the bar with a bunch of guys, especially one who I do feel this way about. I avoid his floor at work whenever possible, and if he's on lunch at the same time, I'll say hi as I pass, but just grab my stuff and eat on the patio or on another floor. I try to just avoid thinking about him or remind myself of how dumb I'm being, but I can't shake this feeling. I'm not afraid I'm going to be an idiot or let passion take over or any of that nonsense, and I think all of those excuses for one-time mistakes are garbage. I'm in control of my actions and could never be so cruel to my husband. I just don't know what to do to shake these feelings. The last time I felt such a strong desire for someone was when I met my husband. We were great friends instantly and hung out, fooled around for about a year before we made things serious. I was very young when we got together, and none of my relationships prior were very serious. I just never felt so strongly attracted to someone and didn't think it was even possible to with anyone else. I don't compare my husband to my coworker or vice versa, and that's not what I'm trying to do here either. I've just been able to shake it off anytime I've had feelings come on for someone else. It doesn't matter what I do with this guy, though. If I think about him, it's hard to get him off my mind regardless of what's going on around me. I've gone weeks without running into him and he won't cross my mind, but then I catch a glimpse of him when I'm strolling into work and my heart will start racing faster. I have a desire to be around him and to be close to him, and I just need it to go away. I feel like I'm in high school all over again, except instead of daydreaming in class, I'm trying to get this dude off my mind and get some damn work done. I know that Reddit is big on full disclosure, but this is not something I'll be discussing with my husband. These feelings aren't coming out of neglect or want in my relationship with him. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything by being with him, and there's nothing that he can do that would fix this for me. If he were feeling the same way about someone, I can honestly say I wouldn't want to hear about it. If he felt neglected, like my actions were causing him to desire affection elsewhere, then that would be a different story. I know that this is something that would affect him really bad, and I don't want him to feel uncomfortable for the 40 to 50 hours a week that I'm in the same building with this guy when there's nothing he could do or say that would change what's going on with me, and there's no chance of me crossing a line. I just don't see the purpose in creating an issue in my marriage when there isn't one. That's a tough one, because clearly you express that you're very, very happy with your husband and you don't like these feelings that you're having. And I think there could potentially be a number of things going on, Maybe you have a desire for polyamory, maybe not. Maybe you are just missing something in your life that this person is awakening in you, and it's maybe even not romantic. This person's just connected to that, and it stirs something up in you. I don't know. The best thing that I could say in this situation is really, I think that you need to maybe talk to a professional. There might be something going on that you're not even realizing is causing all this. And, I can't say. There's so much that I really can't say without knowing, Maybe your feelings for your husband are waning, you don't realize. Maybe this or that or the other. Who knows? Maybe you just want to role play work with your husband in bed. I don't know. What I do know is that it sounds like you're struggling with something, and it would be good to talk to someone about it. And with something like this, if you can make a therapist work, I think it'd be probably pretty helpful, hopefully. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.